disrespect to her even. I mean,
they'd probably
what Akera is doing would challenge anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so even at your best, Akera would be right there with anyone.
Remember, the time that you ran not only a national record in Jamaica,
exactly.
It's the 4th fastest time ever.
No, that is serious. However, Leighton, something unorthodox happened yesterday. The field came to the track in Mondo, in the Duplantis and Warholm clash. You know, that was interesting. I think that was very good for the sport. I like what they are doing there.
You know,
and that was exciting to watch.
10:37 miles.
That is fast. That is fast. That is fast.
You've got to be kidding me.
Was it recorded? Was it being recorded? But was it being recorded? Oh, okay.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Out the Blocks. Today we're looking at these 100-meter hurdles and the evolution of what has become perhaps the most competitive event in track and field.
Indeed.
Of course, it was in 1988 when your Donka Donkova ran a world record of 12.21 seconds. Of course, she's Olympic champion that year as well. And it took almost 30 years before that record was lowered to 12:20 by the amazing American Kenya Harrison. Of course, since that time, in 2022 to be exact, the amazing Nigerian Toby Amerson ran 12:12, which is the new standard for women's 100-meter hurdles. For Jamaica, in 2003, Bridget Foster Hilton ran 12:45, which was a national record that stood for 16 years until 2019, when Janique Brown ran 12:40 at the NCAA championships to establish herself as a new national record holder. That record didn't last very long, because just a few months later, Danielle Williams ran 12:32 to establish a new national record. That record didn't last long either, because in 2022, Brittany Anderson, running in the semifinals of the World Championships in Oregon, ran 12:31. However, this year at the National Championships in Jamaica, Akera Nugent ran a new world lead at the time, 12:25. That lasted for a couple of hours before Masai Russell ran 12:25 at the U.S. Championships. But then, since then, just last week, Akera Nugent ran 12:24, a new world lead, a new national record, and of course, the 4th fastest time in history. Of course, I'm Leighton Levy, and of course, with me is my celebrated friend, D Major, and of course, today we're talking about the sprint hurdles. I mean, when you look at what has happened in the last few years of the sprint hurdles, it's been crazy.
Leighton, for track fans, this is the perfect world. This is what track fans want to see. This is the kind of performances that makes it exciting. You know, you have a plethora, you have a cadre of women, you know, running so fast, you know, running 12 threes and faster. So this is the perfect world. It's exciting, and it's the most deep event, as you mentioned, you know, in our conversation earlier. It's the most deep event, I believe as well. I agree with you, in track and field right now.
Yeah, because when look at the U.S. trials, for example, 12. The person, I think Kenny Harrison came 6th. And I think she ran 12:37. Either 12:37 or 12:39. That would be good enough to medal at any major championship in the world. And
yes.
she didn't make the team.
Right.
The 2019 world champion ran 12:31 and came 4th. Right. Remember that was the Jamaica national record just 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So you're looking at a situation now where the women are running so much faster. I know technology has a lot to do with it.
Right.
Nutrition has a lot to do with it.
Supplements,
and of course the training methodologies have a lot to do with it.
Definitely.
But when it's a combination of all things, but the progression, especially the last 4 or 5 years, has been ridiculous.
Yes, it has been. It has been, Leighton. I agree with it. It has been. And even locally, we are seeing a lot of depth as well. And the progression is even evident here. Our girls, you know, I mean, led by now Akera Nugent, you know, Brittany Anderson was leading the charge a year or 2 ago. However, unfortunately, she suffered injuries, but Akera Nugent is very promising right now for us. And I'm expecting a lot from her for the coming years.
Yeah, when you look at the season, I mean, the times, had she run any of these times, she would have been on the podium in Paris.
Indeed.
You know, but injury played its part there. She had some kind of lower body injury that prevented her from preparing properly for the Olympic finals.
Yeah.
And of course, she didn't finish the final, hitting a number. She hit the first hurdle, and I think the 3rd and 4th before eventually she stopped.
Right.
But when you look at what she's been able to do
afterwards,
12:28, 12:24. Or 12:29. Actually, she broke the meet record twice in there wasn't Rome. It was the meet before that.
Right.
On 12:30 and then 12:29.
Yeah.
And then 12:24 just last week. Do you think the world record is under threat?
I believe it is. I believe Akera Nugent will approach or break the world record in the next year.
If somebody doesn't break it before that.
That is true. That is true, because we have so many girls running so fast. Now, Leighton, she coming in, Akera started a bit late, yeah?
Yeah.
There was a meet in the Bahamas. I think she ran 12:40.
12:05.
12:05.
And she was cruising.
She was just going through the motion. And that was when I said, yes, she's really ready this year, you know. So I'm expecting a lot from Akera this year. I really am expecting a lot from Akera this year.
I spoke to her coach, and prior to the national championship, in fact, prior to the meet in the Bahamas, and he had said to me that she was in great shape.
Yeah.
But saying that she was in great shape didn't really give you a clear indication of the kind of shape she was in.
Right.
You know, so when she came to the national championships and ran 12:28, which lowered Brittany Anderson's record of 12:31. It really spoke to the kind of shape that, and which is one of the reasons why I think both of us had picked her to win at the Olympic Games in Paris. But of course, as I said, you know, injury and related issues played their part. But since that time, 12:30 in the heat, 12:30, 12:29, and then 12:24, tells you that she's trending towards sub 12:2s because why? Both those races that she ran in both those meets, the time that the win was 0.4 for one, minus 0.4 for one, and minus 0.1 for the other.
At a 1.5 assisting.
And it was a 1.5 or a 1 win.
0.2, yeah.
You know, we won't say 2 because, as you know clearly, too much wind doesn't work very well.
Might mess you up, yeah.
She'll be running 12-1s already.
No, that is just a matter. It's just a matter of adjustments. It's just a matter of technique now that would prevent her from really challenging the record. I really believe, you know, in what her and her team is doing, and I'm just excited to see. There's a video of her training late, and I think it's at Stadium East. Yeah. When you watch that video and her speed between the hurdles, I think she did like 3 flights. The speed that she's doing, I've never seen that kind of speed, whether man or woman, in between the hurdles. So smooth. You know, so seamless. So really expecting a lot from Akera. Yeah,
of course, being at second at champs in class 2, her progression since going to Arkansas, where she trains with Chris and Boogie Johnson, obviously has helped her a lot because, you know, NCAA title in her last year at college, in what was a windy time of 12, I think it was 12:25, beating Masai Russell and Alia Armstrong.
Long-standing rivalry.
You know, you're looking at a situation where her progression since she's gone pro, because this is her first full year as a pro, has been significant.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What a first year. You know, you made it to the Olympic finals and stuff. I mean, not the result we wanted. However, she's now, you know, solidifying herself. She's now validating, you know, herself, and I am personally looking forward to what she can do in the future.
Yeah, I think she had a, I don't know, it looked like she was carrying a bit of an injury as well, because she was limping after both those meets.
I am counting that as well. When you count, her performance is exceptional, and if you count that she faced some injury issues and stuff, what if she hadn't? What if she doesn't next year? What can we expect?
And she'll be stronger next year, more experienced, and possibly faster as well.
Any increment in improvement?
Yeah, because when I spoke to Chris Johnson last year, it was her last year at college.
Yeah.
She was saying that he believes that she has good flat speed as well. I asked him if she could be the next Gail Divas, and he laughed because he says, I mean, the Gail Divas are 10-8, 12-3 athlete in hers. I mean,
well, you know, she's already beyond Gail in the flat.
In the flats, yeah, obviously, but you know, to get to 10-8 takes some doing.
Yeah.
Gail Divas 10-8 at the 92 Olympic Games in Barcelona. But you know that.
Oh, you're talking about her doubling, probably, possibly.
Possibly, the likelihood of it, because in an era, because remember, the transition is happening. Huh? Is no longer Elaine and Shelley and Sherika. It's more like Sherika, Brianna Liston, the Clayton twins and others.
Yeah.
You know, Akera could be in that equation as well.
I would bet on Akera to be the next sprinter. I would bet on it. I would bet on it because her PR is what, 11-1.
I think she's 11-1.
I know she's faster than that, Leighton. I know Akera is faster than 11-1 right now. It's just for her to go out there and get it and just execute and get it done. So, and as I said, next year she will be stronger, faster. So any form of improvement on what she's doing now will put her in that conversation easily.
Certainly 12-1 is in the offing. The world record is still more than a tenth away. So what you know, it's based on what we've seen so far this year.
Indeed,
it's very likely. Yeah. But we're talking about, you know, extraordinary performances. We saw one of them just last night, where Karsten Warholm, the world record holder in the 400-meter hurdles, took on Mondo Duplantis in the 100-meter hurdles. He's the world record holder in the pole vault.
You have to say, all right, Duplantis discipline is really the pole vault.
The two world record holders in a discipline that they're not that proficient in.
Wow, look at that.
But when you look at what they were able to do, 10:37 to 10:47, these guys running flat 100 could be competitive on the circuit.
Of course.
You know.
Of course. No, I don't know his camp. I don't know his coach necessarily, but I can tell you, just by watching this 100-meter, Mondo Duplantis runs track program in training. There's no way you get up and execute those phases that easily. and just leave a discipline like the pole vault that you have to be programming yourself, into just doing that only. And then you come on the track and execute phases like that so easily. I make it look so smooth. No, he runs a serious program.
10:57 wind did it. That wind was 2.1. And I think at 10:69, there was no wind reading on that one.
Yeah.
But certainly, I don't really remember this press conference in Brussels 2 years ago when Shelley challenged Mondo to run 100.
Oh, yeah.
Good thing she didn't.
Good thing she didn't. Good thing Shelley didn't. Shelley, we love you. You're a queen, but a good thing she... No, but the man is executing. Look at that first 30 meters. He is making do-off in some guys that are really 100-meter specialists.
Yeah, that's his first 30 looked pretty solid. The phases were really, really good, too. I mean, 10:37, people have been spoiled by the idea because Bolt and Blake and Gatlin and Tyson Gay and
jog these times.
They run these times relatively easy.
Yeah.
But 10:37 is fast.
Impressive. Yes, it is.
It's fast.
It is.
No matter where you're in what context.
You're fast.
So you have to look at it. It's really incredible. And one of the things I like about this is this could be a precursor to other matchups like this,
Definitely.
which I think would help the sport.
Definitely. That's why I love it. That's why I love it lately. This is bringing excitement, another aspect, another dimension to the sport. You never know who might go up against who, from what discipline. So I like it. And you can even reverse it. You can take some guys off the track, put them in the field. You know what I'm saying? And how this would help his pole vault is he won't need 10.3 kind of speed
but good
with
speed.
the pole, but good speed helps you. It builds the momentum, the velocity to catapult you over.
With that power to drive the bar and go up, with the flexibility, of course. And one of the reasons, it probably explains why he's able to break the world record so consistently.
Right.
Because that speed obviously helps.
I'm sure it's a high resistance bar that he uses to get that kind of height. It has to be a serious.
Generate that kind of power.
Right.
Because if you remember, you're probably not old enough. I don't know. I'm assuming here.
I'm not old enough.
Sergei Bubka used to break poles a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the guy who used to break the world records ad nauseum as well.
Right.
So I know both poles have been broken by Mondo, obviously. But clearly the poles are better prepared now.
Because they have different levels,
resistance,
depending on the athlete's weight and power and so on. So I'm sure this speed will definitely help him. As I said, and he won't have time to get to 10.3 speed, but it will definitely help.
Because a lot of people get a misconception about the length of the runway. The length of the runway for the pole vault is about 45 meters.
About 45, yeah.
So if you're able to generate good speed along that runway.
And that's why I can tell you he runs program, because to be doing 6 rounds of 45 meters, you have to have your legs.
Yeah.
So this is how you build up that kind of endurance.
And early
with
momentum.
Track, exactly, and with track work.
And that's what we saw in the 100. That early momentum was incredible. He got away from Carson like that.
That's how he won the race.
Yep.
That's how he won.
Had that race been 150, I think the outcome may have been different.
Yeah. It would be, I think it would be unfair now.
But
it would have gone unfair though, yeah.
The 100 though, is a different dynamic altogether. Indeed. And speaking of different dynamics though, Sidney McLaughlin is supposed to be running at the Diamond League meeting in Zurich today, actually. There was a major controversy before where the organizers, and I think World Athletics had said that she didn't qualify because she didn't run in the Diamond League meets before.
Yeah.
So they've created 2 additional events, an extra 400 and an extra 200 for her. Had they not done that, would they have been right to exclude her?
Leighton, if I'm speaking as a track fan, I would have said runner. However, I understand that there are rules, and stuff that we have to abide by. We have to keep the integrity on them. So if you're going to bend it for one person, other people going to feel slighted. So I guess that's where it's coming from. So they have to keep the credibility of whatever rule is set, and just abide by that. I personally would have loved to see her do the double, because this is Sidney McLaughlin now. I want to see her at her best.
22:07, 48:75.
Want to see her maximize. So if I'm speaking as a fan, I say run her. And it's another thing in terms of another dynamic, just like Carson, like Warholm and Duplantis. It would bring another element of excitement to the sport.
Yeah, the only way I would see her being allowed to run, because what I think the solution that they found is the right one.
Right.
And here's why I think that. Because to qualify for the Diamond League final, you have to run and build up your points.
Yeah, that's how it's always been.
So if she had been allowed to run in the Diamond League final, the Diamond League races, that is,
Take away the.
the only way I see her running is if she would forfeit the prize money that comes along with winning.
Okay.
So it would go to the person who finishes second.
Okay.
Because those other people would have earned their spots in the final.
But Leighton, that is a genius suggestion as well. You know, because speaking as a fan, Leighton, be honest.
No, I'd love to see her run against Paulino. I mean,
Okay.
I would love to see her and Paulino and Nasser go at it.
Man. Oh, boy.
That would be the race for me to see.
And her and what's my girl in the 200?
And anybody in the 200
Gabby
right now.
and
Gabby
them.
and company in the
Yeah,
200.
so-
you know, the thing about it is, and of course, Dina Asha Smith and probably Julian Alfred as well.
Yeah, yes.
That would be something, because I think then they would push her to probably new levels of performance.
Indeed.
But the solution that they've found now, I think, works, because I think it's fairer.
Yeah.
Because they're not running for the same prize money that the people in the Diamond League races are running for. And nobody wants to come second and then claim the Diamond League prize.
Right.
I think we saw that last year. Was it last year? Where she ran the 400-meter hurdles, but I think it was Femke Ball that got the prize.
Because she
Femke
didn't
was
qualify.
second. Yeah, because she didn't qualify.
She didn't run enough races.
The rules state that you're running Diamond League, you're saying you accumulate the people with the most number of points.
Yeah.
Are the people who qualify for the Diamond League.
Yeah, man. I don't have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. Because we want to see the stars running throughout the season.
And which is one of the reasons why I have a problem with Sidney McLaughlin. She doesn't run. Look,
enough races.
for somebody who is as talented as she is.
Right on.
She needs to be running more races.
The fans want to see
The
her.
fans want to see her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just like Bolt, when Bolt was running, or
Thank you.
any outstanding
Zurich,
star.
the Oslos, yeah, man.
Yeah, people want to see you
We
run.
want to see them, yes.
And only running the middle championships is one thing. But pitting yourself against, especially since she's doing the different events,
Yeah.
pitting yourself against the best is where we want to see. We want to see you against the Paulinos. We want to see you against the Gabby Thomases.
Yes.
You know, and
Julian and stuff
Julian
in the-
Alfreds
in the
and
200.
maybe even the Sharika Jacksons in the
Yeah.
200 meters.
Yeah.
You know, because then
She will be under pressure, I believe.
Yeah,
And
that
we
is
get
a
to see her
spectacle.
best.
That is
Yeah.
a spectacle, you know.
Yeah, yes.
Right? Somebody who is from another event,
Indeed.
who is very good at this event, running against the best of the event.
That's a big ticket. That's a big seller.
That's
right
a big.
there.
That's a big ticket, and
Yeah.
that's what I think people want to see. So I think, you know, often track and field athletes complain about there not being enough money in the sport, and this is one of the reasons why. Some of the big names don't run often enough, which is one of the reasons why I love the women 100-meter sprinters.
Indeed.
They go often and they go against the best of the best all the time.
Thank you. Nobody can cuss you for that.
Nobody can say that they're ducking anybody or anything. That's what I think the sport needs more of.
Indeed.
So maybe these spectacles are what also could help the sport as well. I mean, maybe even the Mondo, well, I know Shelley right now is not 100%, but even the Mondo Shelley thing
Yeah. That would be tough to beat.
would be a nice little thing to see.
Big one.
You know?
However, it's the 100 meters late, we have a big one coming up to probably close out the
season?
year. Yes, man. Tia Clayton, Dina Asha Smith, Shakari Richards.
Yeah, and Julian Alfred.
The Olympic champion, Julian Alfred.
Yeah,
How are you feeling about this one?
Here's what I think. I know a lot of people think that Shakari is going to probably win this race.
Right. I was going to ask you for a prediction.
But I don't
what
think.
is your take?
Here's why I think Julian Alfred will win. Neither have raced since Paris, right? If you look at the conditions that they raced in Paris, driving rain, the wind was minus 0.1. Julian Alfred ran 10.72,
Right.
which tells me that Julian is in 10.6 shape.
Definitely.
Right.
I agree. Yeah, man.
So this is not a given that because Shakari has run 10.6. She has run 10.6 all year. She has a world lead at 10.71.
Yeah.
Julian's 10.72 basic is better than her 10.71.
Indeed.
Right, so for me, with the confidence that Julian would have, having 2 weeks of rest, more than 2 weeks of rest now, going into this race,
Right.
maybe sharpening up some of the things that Coach Alfred probably thought she could
Exactly.
clean up.
Yes.
I think she wins this 100. I mean, it's good. I'm not thinking it's going to be as big a gap as what happened in
All right.
in Paris, but
Good.
certainly, I think she wins.
Good point. I agree with you, Leighton, on that Julian would win. However, my reason is, as I said, 10-7 low in the pouring rain. However, the gap that she won by, the way she demoralized Shakari, once Julian Alfred gets that start again on her, it's over.
Yep.
It's over.
It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
But we'll catch up with that in a little bit.
Can Tia sneak one on them?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Tia is ready mentally to win this race yet. I think she's still wetting her feet at this level.
Yeah.
And I think she would have gotten a lot of experience running at the Olympic Games.
Big season, though.
But
wonderful season.
For one half race, she ran 10:83 when they did the last race. But that was that 2.9 win, so that's like 11-1. I don't know if she's going to be ready, but I think the experience will help her going into next year.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, but I'm looking quickly now at the World Under-20. We can't go without talking about the performance of not just Jamaica, but the Caribbean, of course. Adija Hodge, I want to start with her.
Okay. Yeah.
She won the 200 looking good.
Yes.
And second in the 100 behind Alada Reid of Jamaica. So Jamaican 1, 2, 3. No, Caribbean 1, 2, 3. Sorry.
Right. More Carifta.
Kishana Niles from the Barbados was third.
Yes.
What did you make of the performance?
Adija, she's doing now what we expected. I don't know the issues that she had the last couple of years. You know, Carifta Games in Kingston.
2022.
2022. She really, you know, it was basically a breakout year for her. And now she's starting to look the part again, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, so it is good to see that, you know, you don't want to see the athletes injured and unable to do, you know what, live up to their potential then. The Caribbean 1, 2, 3 in the 100 was a wonderful sight for me. You know, it is saying that the wealth is spreading, you know, throughout the Caribbean, and that was a good look. And the male side, however, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, well, you and I have different opinions on that because
I know.
You look when you look at what DeAndre Daly did on the ankle leg in the 4x1, suggests that he should have been on the podium.
Stop. Stop. When you look at what DeAndre Daly, and this is why, Leighton, this is why I hold my point on one of these guys, DeAndre Daly or Gary Card, one of them should have medal. I understand there are guys out there, and I give respect to the other competitors. However, my two athletes, I know they were qualified to make that podium. So to see them fall short is still a step back, and I don't think you can convince me of that. You can have your opinion. I respect your opinion, but you can't convince me otherwise.
There's a thing. A couple of things. The conditions might have played out. It was really cold over there.
Yeah, that I understand.
But here's why I don't think it is too much of a factor. That he was able to run that relay leg the way he did in similar conditions. For me, the South African, that one, the sprint double, and the other South African, who was third, ran at the Olympic Games.
No, it's a good thing.
They're on their 4x1 squad.
The Africans, Leighton,
are coming.
They are probably here.
They are here.
The Africans are probably here. If you look at it, you know, you will see Tobago, the Botswana, and he has company as well. And now the South Africans are coming
South
forward.
Africans,
you have the Kenyan.
You have the Kenyans.
In the sprints we're talking about,
And there's the beast, I think, is waking up.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep talking about the Zimmer brothers from Nigeria back in the 1980s. They were an example of what was possible coming out of these countries, especially in Western Africa, where we get our DNA from, in the Caribbean.
Yes.
So I think they're waking up now to the reality that what is possible, and we're seeing it.
Yes.
And so for me, going forward in the next 5-10 years, because I was talking to Omaniala when he was in Jamaica for the Racers Track Meet.
Yes.
And he was saying that there are a bunch of youngsters in Africa coming up.
Wow.
We're in their 10-3s, 10-1s now.
Yeah.
Who he believes in the next few years will be in the kind of shape to run 9.7s like he has. Albeit he's run his 9.7s at altitude. Yeah. The fact is that they're coming, and as you said, they're rightly here. Yeah. But overall, I think going back to the original point, I think the Caribbean did well in Lima, Peru, given the conditions and given the fact that they won the sprint relays. Even though had the US not messed it up, I don't think that would have happened. I think the US women were good. And look, we don't know if Alana really would have pulled off a DeAndre Daly.
What made it look, though, the girls, the ankle leg runner, she moved early. So it looked further than it should have really been. And that's why they didn't get to make the change.
And maybe Alana could have run her down, which is one of the reasons.
I think Alana, for the most part, took it easy, you know. You know,
No, she was
I don't
easy.
think she was 100%.
No, she wasn't.
She knew she had the feel, and she just went out there, executed, and did enough to win.
But it was a good performance overall. I think between Adi Jihad and Kishana Niles and the Jamaicans, I think what we saw from them, especially the Jamaicans, is what I think they would have loved to have seen in Paris.
Yeah.
So I think this is some way
Right.
makes up for what didn't happen in Paris.
Right.
So you know, so
Yes.
kudos to the Kishana Niles from Barbados, sorry, to Adija Hodge from the BVI, and of course the Jamaican crew who came back with 4 gold medals, and of course we can't forget Shania Douglas, bronze in the 200 meters. Outstanding performances from the youngsters.
That young lady, I believe, I don't think that performance even did her justice. Congrats on the bronze medal, however, but I believe that keep your eyes on Shania Douglas.
Yeah, I think 22.5 was fast, and I don't think she's run that fast. So
Keep
I think
your eyes on her.
it's a situation where this would be a good learning experience for her, and she has a long season as well.
Yeah,
Carifta,
exactly.
you know, of course,
Champs.
Carifta, and stretching out that form right down into the end of, almost to the end of August.
Right.
You know, so you have to give them kudos to that.
Right.
But that brings us to the end of this week. Of course, I thank you so much for joining us. Next week, I'll be back, hopefully with another guest. We were hoping to have a guest this week. That didn't work out. But we'll be back next week with another episode of Out the Block. So stay tuned. We'll be back with you. Somebody great, hopefully.
Subscribe, like, and share.
Yes, always remember, subscribe, like, and share. Until next week. Bye-bye.